9898. We have a call on the line. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Hello, caller, you there? Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi, thank you so very much for your call.
Yes, I just wanted to say that it's so encouraging and so motivating to hear both Rael and Jonathan talking. I mean, it's such an encouragement to see two smart, knowledgeable individuals wanting to run and give their all to their country.
Absolutely.
I look forward to hearing more from them. Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you very much, caller. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you very much for that call. And I totally agree, because you guys have still a lot you could do on your own. I mean, in the private sector, Jonathan, you made a huge sacrifice, and I know what that feels like because I did it the last election.
Yep.
I think the difference is that you're with a team that doesn't have daggers to stick in your back like I had, okay? The team I ran with showed there a dagger they could find in my back as quickly as they could. So you're running with a team, and that's one of the reasons why I'm independent. I'm independent because I'm not going to be muzzled, and I'm not going to let anyone get a chance to do that to me again. I know people that I can work with, like the two of you. Mm-hmm. We can agree, we can disagree. Jonathan and I have had disagreements in the past. Yeah. One of the things that people don't know is that you and I and Elio started this journey back. Yep. We were meeting in Elizabethan Square.
That's right. Chatting. 2007.
Elio ran first instead of us.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, we've been talking about this for a long time. So we have relations. And he and I used to get in some heated discussions back then. Right?
Johnny too, remember? Johnny McLean?
John McLean too. Yeah. So, we've been here before. These are not new relationships. No. And we can work together. We can disagree and we can agree. Right.
And that's an important point. That's one thing that's key, I think, that I would like our youngsters to understand is to agree to disagree.
Yes.
It's very important because so many times now I see our youngsters getting in fights and these sorts of things. They need to understand that I can have a different opinion than Jonathan. Mm-hmm. But what we need to be able to do is to look at all the facts. You present your ideas, I present my ideas, and then we just come up with a solution
for the betterment of the country.
We don't need to get in arguments or other discussions. We just need to look at the facts, get the right information, get all of the information, and then we can work it out. And at the end of the day, there can still be some disagreement, but at the end of the day, we can still go have a plate of food together and hang out.
And here's the key thing that everyone needs to come to accept. I don't care where you lead. I don't care what organization you lead, whether it's cabinet, whether it's parliament, or a business Fortune 500 company. No one has all the answers.
They don't.
If you did, guess what? You wouldn't need employees.
That's
you
right.
could fire them, keep all the money to yourself. You need employees, and you need people around you because they bring ideas to the table.
Correct.
And they help you develop.
Correct.
And you know what? We shouldn't be, as elected members, we shouldn't be giving the public all the answers. The public, we need to give them ideas. They need to start thinking, and they need to bring something to the table. That's how you get participative political leadership. You don't get that by giving them all the answers, but go ahead, Jonathan.
And similarly, I mean, going back to what Rael was saying as well, in terms of and what you were saying, not giving everybody all the answers. Similarly, the same thing happens in caucus. When we sit down and we caucus, it's a blending.
Yes.
It's a merging of the minds, and certainly, it doesn't happen where I like Rael, and so I'm going to just kowtow to him.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. It doesn't work like that. We have persons who were here to represent, persons individually voted us in. They want us to make some decisions, and as a result of that, we have an obligation and responsibility to the greater community, larger community, to caucus and come up with the right ideas.
Yeah. We have a caller on the line. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Hello, caller, are you there?
Hello, yes.
Hi, thank you so very much for your call.
Hi. Okay, I just wanted to say that, I appreciate your talk show.
Thank you.
And, what you're bringing. A lot of eye-opening things. I'm sure a lot of people in Cayman didn't know. For instance, that Ritz thing. I had 6 interviews at the Ritz. 6. 3 on the phone. Did I ever test in person?
Yes.
3 in person. And I knew I had them. I did not even get a letter, a call back to say, okay, we're not going to choose you or nothing. I know I was a very well qualified person going into that. I'm well spoken, so
you can hear that.
So I appreciate that, because other than that, I would never have known what the real underlying issue was with something as simple as that. I just let it go and moved on.
Caller, just quickly before you hang up, are you still unemployed?
No, I'm employed now.
Okay.
And I've, you got to keep pushing. You cannot let one thing set you back.
Absolutely. Okay,
but what I want to say is, Elio did something so great. Even though he ran with UDP, he ran with a party, he did this. And for all young Caymanians who are paying a pension to be able to be a homeowner with that down payment or pay off their mortgage.
Right.
Elio has my vote just for that one thing. I don't care what party he votes. I don't vote straight. I don't vote straight. I'm picking out my candidates, and I'm listening to all of you all. My question really is this. Just like Elio did, and I would say he did it, with everybody else, but he didn't do it as a party thing. He did it as something he believed in. He championed it for us young people. What is it? Do you have anything you know of straight off the bat that when you go in thinking about young people that will last us a lifetime like that did? I mean, because that just alone, what he did impacted so many people. I know of personally that have just gotten their homes, based on that. I know of someone who paid off her mortgage, and it's such a weight lifted off her shoulder.
That's right.
And I also know the other spectrum of people who are getting pensions now that can't live off the pensions they're getting. Their medication alone is higher than the actual pensions being paid.
Right.
So I'm just asking you, is there anything you know of that, just straight off the bat, you're going in to do for us young people that you need our support on? Because honestly, right now, I'm willing to clean house and put everyone new in.
Right.
Well, thank you so very much. If you want to just hang up and listen to our responses?
Yes. Okay.
And guys, if you want me to go first, I'm happy to go first. But mine certainly is through the residential renewable program. It's what I lobbied for was 4 megawatts of residential renewable power, and it was initially the then Premier McKeever Bush asked me to come up with a plan that would allow the poor and the elderly some relief with their CUC bill. And when I put the plan together, it was a social program to give them solar panels to bring it down, and England denied his request for the 15 million and said no. I mean, even though they were doing the same thing in England at the same time, they said no, you didn't have enough money in your budget. So I then took it back and got a call out of Canada, and some wealthy people wanted to fund that program. They said, hey, we'll fund the program, provided you can give us back our money, show us how we get our money back. And it was redesigned to include a roof lease agreement or a property lease agreement. And what we could do is install solar panels on people's property, use the feed-in tariff core program, and CUC would pay directly the money from the energy produced to the company, who would in turn pay out to the households a percentage of that. So the plan was for the young people to be able to, one, get into the solar program by helping to do these installs. Afterwards, they could start up their little companies and they could carry out those maintenance, because the company is responsible for all maintenance for the duration of the contract. At the end of the contract, the homeowners takes full ownership of the solar panels. That allows young people to get a foot in to the energy production business in this country. And they need not back away, because this could become, they could buy out each other's area for maintenance, they could do additional installations, and they could grow their little companies. But more importantly, college students and new startup young people with families, we would be able to give you all some relief on that light bill. And I must say that CUC at the time fully supported this program. Jonathan?
Just quickly, I mean, what has always been near and dear to my heart, and I can tell you for those persons who were following me in 2009, one of the things that I spoke about is a technical and vocational school, and that's still very near and dear to my heart, and that will have an immediate impact on the youth, primarily those individuals who are suffering from the highest number of unemployment right now, which is between the ages of 15 to 24. we need to have a proper technical and vocational school, but not just the training in the school. They need to have access to jobs through apprenticeship programs. Those apprenticeship programs need to link to the objectives of those programs. At the end of the day, they need to have international recognized certifications so that they can then go into fields like electrical, like plumbing, like masonry, like carpentry. Let me tell you something, Joey. Fact of the matter is, if you look at the statistics, the majority of those persons who are holding work permits are in the construction development industry. So let me tell you now. So if we talk about reliance on work permits, here's the thing: if I can get a Caymanian to replace some of those persons who are currently out there on work permit, that individual will have much more disposable income to be generated in the local economy. They're not going to be sending monies off through business services. They're going to be shopping. They're going to spend. They're going to be buying. They're going to be buying homes at Rail Bordens Company bills, and they're going to be hooking up to the grid over CUC, and so that is what I want. I just want to just quickly highlight that some of the things that will be benefited from the training is, as I mentioned, the on-the-job training, but in addition to that, personal and professional development as it pertains to work habits and attitudes. One of the things that are plaguing many of the businesses, unfortunately, is they say that they cannot rely, unfortunately, on the Caymanian labor force because some of them aren't reliable and they have the wrong attitude. Well, the technical and vocational training, you get all of those soft skill training bits as well. They understand what it means to be accountable, what it means to be responsible, what it means to show up on time and be on time and contribute to something and feel as though they have made a contribution at the end of the week, and they have a salary to demonstrate, that we have made a contribution. So,
I think the caller made one thing that certainly jumps out in my mind. She made one statement that jumps out in my mind that is very encouraging. When Jonathan asked if she was still unemployed, and she said no, she kept going to get a job, and she found a job. And that's the one thing I want to encourage people to do with no matter what they do. Keep going. You got to keep trucking. Keep on keeping on. That's important. What I think Jonathan touched on it. It's kind of like a tug of war thing right now. When you see two teams are pulling, and then all of a sudden some more people jump in and grab that rope and start pulling it. That's how we got to be with this technical school, the vocational school right now. A bunch of us got to grab this thing and pull this thing. We can't talk about it anymore. We just can't do it. I look back at just to talk a little bit about the Caymanian men in particular. Now, we're all good with our hands. We're all skilled people. You look back in our history and our heritage, shipbuilders and these sorts of things. And then in the more recent generations, sailing boats, the ships, first engineers, second engineers. That the Caymanian men were sought after by these big ships because they were known to be some of the best seamen on the ocean. But then all of a sudden we decided we need to put them in an office. And I think the whole thing is we need to get back to technical trades because it's inspiring to those guys to be sort of in the office and out the office, to find their self-worth, find their purpose in life, because if you can find your purpose in life, then you can find your self-worth and then you'll find happiness. I think that's important. So that technical school is very important. And then to get the piece of the pie, once you get your education and you get your job, you're making your money, you can buy a house, which is what she talked about. And I was the last chairperson for the National Housing Development Trust, where we did the government guaranteed home assisted mortgage programs, and we did some of the other housing programs, and we started to take it in the right direction. There's a lot more that we need to do, but that's a start. And people need, once they get their jobs, then they can buy their house. Because a house is a basic need, and it's a need and it builds strong families. And really and truly, when you think about society, we can talk about economics and recession and all these things, but the truth of the matter is, if that family unit is strong, and you multiply that by the society, the whole society is strong. And then if the society is strong, the economic problems don't matter.
That's right. Because that family unit is the cornerstone of a strong society.
You got it, brother. That's it.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be right back. We have to take another commercial break. When we come back, it's going to be the wrap-up segment. Don't forget, you can give us a call at 946-9898. The number again is 946-9898. This is the Joey Ebanks Radio Show, and we're going to be right back. So don't change that dial now. Bye.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, Vibe 98.9 FM.
This is the Joey Ebanks Show on Vibe FM.
Welcome back to the Joey Ebanks Show, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the last segment. I have with me my guests, Jonathan Piercy, Ray Borden. And gentlemen, we have an email here on my Facebook page that I have to ask the question, because I think this is a great question. Let me just read it to you. Hey Jay, this is for John and Rael. Will they be taking young individuals and molding them as they have been held by previous elders in our country?
Absolutely. The answer is yes, yes, and yes. I think back, of course, we talked about education today and curriculum, yes, and going through the whole schooling thing, and that's great, and you learn a lot. But what happens is when you go out and get a job, basically you need to have someone that's there that kind of just tells you some basic things about what's happening in life. I think about 4 or 5 people that are very important to me in my life when I got out into the business world, and it's amazing because it's little things that they tell me. It wasn't nothing magical or no big training. It's little principles, that it's kind of like things that you see that's on your mind, but when someone verbalizes it to you, it makes a lot of sense, you know. And I think that mentorship is so important, and certainly whatever I can offer to that younger generation coming up, I will certainly make every effort to do so with those persons, because what has been passed on to me, I think I need to pass on to those persons, and I will certainly be doing that wherever and whenever possible.
Yeah. So
I know you have a call, yeah, but I'll answer after you take the call.
Okay, good. No problem. If we can go straight to the phone lines, we don't want to keep the callers waiting because they are the customer, you know. Caller, are you on the air? Hello? Hello? Oh, we lost the call. Okay, Jonathan, you want to go with the...
Yeah, no, sure, absolutely. I just wanted to say absolutely yes. The whole purpose of me running as a candidate in the upcoming election is because, part and parcel of that is because I do believe that we have to have some sort of succession plan in place. And I see myself as the newcomer. But certainly I feel that provided that I can get someone to mentor. I think when I look around the community, there are a number of people, even in the private sector, there are a number of people who would want to at some point in time put their hat in the political ring, yes, and vie for a top spot. And you know what, Joey, let me tell you something. We can't be selfish with this thing, because if we selfish with this thing, in another 10, 15 years when we look around to see who's there'll be no one there. And you know what? The whole purpose of us fighting today is for a better future. So for us to say we're not going to do this, we're going to hold this for ourselves is to be honest, is not national. It goes against everything that I
absolutely. And I think one of the things that we have in common is that we don't want to be here, Phil.
No.
I have other ideas and things I want to do, but we're going to go straight to the phone lines. Caller, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hi, thank you so much for holding. Thank you for your call as well.
Hello, Joey.
Hi.
Thank you for your show.
Oh, thank you.
I really appreciate it. And and one of the reasons I appreciate your show is because you're not there slandering people, getting documents and saying things about people, and where you're hiding behind a radio station, and people are not allowed to protect themselves and to reply.
Right.
I think that is the name of the game now, someplace else.
That's right.
That's very disturbing to me. And Jonathan and Rael, they're very two great young men, and that's why I support them, because they're the future.
I appreciate that, sir.
Like I told them several days or weeks ago, I had a future, but the present is my future, and they have a future. They're young, they're very bright, and they're very articulate, and they are going to make great representatives for the island. And I really appreciate them, and I promise them I will help them in any way I can, and I will work for them, because I know that as I got older, my children and myself and my family will be in good hands.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate that coming from you. Yeah. I really do.
Yes, caller, thank you so much, and I certainly look forward to working with you. I certainly look up to you as well. I know you worked with my father before, and I have the utmost respect for you, and if I am elected, I will certainly, I think, act very respectful as well for our citizens of the country and our people, and I will do my best.
And if I could just add to that, caller, Mr. Myfield, is that, and you and I have had this conversation years ago when I was at CUC, is that, and a lot of young people today don't understand how much sacrifice you made, you and Frank McField made for Caymanians, professional Caymanians,
right.
for us to want more, and the fights you fought so that we could have more. You know, we hear a lot of the American TV talk about Michael Jordan blazing trails for black basketball athletes, but one of the things that I've always said to you is that I think that you helped do that for me too. I won't speak for the young people, I'll speak for me. That hearing your story and hearing Frank's story and watching you guys, you made me want to have that second master's degree. You made me want to have that academics and that education. But more importantly, you made me want to take a stand and not be afraid. So if you guys are going to fight and sacrifice your life and your opportunities to fight to ensure that these things became available, why shouldn't we?
That's right.
Why shouldn't we? I mean,
That's right.
Jonathan has taken risks. Rail is taking risks. I'm taking risks.
That's right.
We're taking risks because we believe in something, and we don't have no desire to spend the next 20 years in the parliament. At least certainly I don't.
And I'll tell you something as well. I'm taking a risk because I believe in people like Mr. McField.
Yes.
I believe in people like and his children and,
That's right.
and what we term as remote issue, right? Because it is important. And I see myself as a trustee, right, for these islands. And I think that if when I'm elected, come the 22nd of May, I'm going to take up my responsibility very seriously. And I can tell you, Mr. McField, anytime, any place, anywhere, you will always have a direct line to Jonathan Pierce. And I want to say that to the other persons out there listening as well, because there's nothing superficial about what I'm doing. I understand that in order for me to be successful in this, I have to be a servant leader, and I'm there to serve.
That's right. And I reiterate, and I agree completely with what Jonathan said.
Yes, sir.
And Jonathan and Rael, I know you're going to stand up and stand up for our rights.
That's correct.
And that's why I support you. I know that you're not wishy-washy, and that you can do the job, and you're qualified to do the job. And you remind me of myself when I was probably your age, searching for the right and standing up for what you believe in. And I really, really appreciate you two guys, and I really believe in you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and I think we are getting up and standing up.
And Rael, your dad and I were before our time.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
Absolutely, very, very visionary type persons, and that's a strength and a weakness, and that's the beautiful thing, and that's why I'm so happy to have you guys there, both my father and yourself, and many others that are there behind me. I mean, I remember going to when we were as kids going to the sea, and I would get up on my father's shoulders and I would jump off of his shoulders and do a little flip. It's kind of the same thing now. Now I'm grown up. Now I have my little girl. Now I need to prepare a platform for her to climb up on my shoulders, and she can jump off of my shoulders. So thank you for certainly raising us the right way, and hopefully we can be an inspiration to the kids coming up.
And Mr. McField, are you still there?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Well, we're going to wrap up now, but I just wanted you to answer one thing for the listening audience as well before we go. Is that if you wouldn't mind just letting the people know what relation my mother and you have. What's the relationship between you and my mother?
Your mother is my aunt, and you were my first cousin.
That's right.
Yes.
So thank you so very much for your call.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Let me just add one thing to what Mr. McField is he's a very wise and well known person for knowing our history. And one thing is, if you want to know where you're going, you got to know where you came from. So I that is one thing why I'm so important. I'm so happy to have him on our side and to be able to tap into that spirit.
Right. And gentlemen, we're wrapping up the show. I certainly appreciate that we had the last caller and who the last caller was. I mean, one other thing I will say, and I'll give you all this respect and this due to your leader, is that I do not believe any other premier would have given that gentleman, Steve McField, the opportunity to speak before the United Nations. And that speaks volume of your leader. So I will say in respect to that, my hat's off to your leader in respect to that, because he reached down, he gave someone who had fought the fight and who is my first cousin, as he said, the opportunity to go to the United Nations and represent this country, and that is a huge, huge honor. And we need to start looking at people like Steve McField today. Sure. The young people, the rest of us who are fighting now, we're another generation. We're not there from their generation, but we're another generation. We're saying enough of the fighting against each other. We want to rally people now. We're going to disagree, but we don't need to destroy each other. Let us not travel that road Let us help bring each other up.
And
Let
Joey,
us work together.
And Joey,
please go ahead. And
just quickly, I just want to say, with respect to Mr. Steve McField, you know, he has done a lot for the people of the Cayman Islands as well. And I think that it is high time that persons like Mr. McField, that we recognize him while he is still alive.
That's right. That's right.
The other day, for example, I was just talking to him, and he told me, you know, he's not even a JP. I mean, that to me is an indictment on this country. And I think that if not, as I said, when we're elected, we have to look into to real honoring these people.
He needs to be a magistrate and the some record at the very least. It's time for us to show this man some respect. It's time for us to start respecting some Caymanian lawyers.
Correct.
I mean, all right, we ain't gonna get into that. I'll get into that Saturday night at my meeting. I'm gonna
Another
beat some
topic,
more
another-
accountants, but
Bring us back.
gentlemen, please take your time and closing remarks, real, please.
Certainly, I want to thank you, Joy, and the crew here at the station for having us here, and I would like to thank the listeners for tuning in, of course. I want to say to the voters, take your time during this elections and ensure you get all of the facts, all of the truth. We just talked about agreeing to disagree, but it's important before you disagree that you get all of the information, that you arm yourself with you knowing who can do what for you and how they're going to do it. There's a lot of negative information out there, and I implore people, don't look at the negative information. Make sure you get all the facts. Don't just get one side. Ask if you're not sure. Our country is at a very critical stage right now, and we need some of the best to come forward and take this country forward. We need some younger, energetic minds as well. And I think at my age, with my I still have some energy, some youth, and I want to serve the country. I believe our team can get the job done for them, and I hope that over the coming weeks, if I want the voters to follow me and I can build up trust in the voters, that when they vote for me, they know that I'm going to do the right thing for them, because trust for me, if I build up that relationship with you, it is very important that we can keep that and maintain that for our future and our families.
Thank you so